Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Colbert. Filling in for Smokey, because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is a test of the emergency podcast system. Activated by contract termination. Rumors of our demise are greatly exaggerated. Welcome to Stacy on the Right with your host, Stacy Washington. She's blessed to be a Bible-reading, gun-toting, Air Force veteran, wife and mom, righteously American.
Yes, indeed. Righteously American. And back behind the microphone, it was my own good fault yesterday that the show that I did for you did not get uploaded to the podcast site, so people didn't get a chance to listen to it. But you will get to listen to it. Just hold your proverbial horses and we'll have that up for you. Right now, I am just chilling out over here. I've got a ton of content for you. Mexico's paying for the wall. We have Christian persecution actually rising up all over the world. Christians dragged out and churches destroyed in 2 different countries. And then we're going to run down, lots of stuff about gerrymandering. The U.S. Supreme Court throwing out a challenge to Republican-drawn electoral districts in Michigan. We're going to jump on that. There's also this story about Democratic Congresswoman Katie Hill having a three-way relationship with her husband and a female employee, and then cheating on the two of them with somebody else. Yeah, you heard me. She cheated on them with somebody else. So interesting. And then Always Sanitary Pads is bowing down to the LGBT mafia, removing the symbol of womanhood from their products because apparently now a man can wear a menstrual pad. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Those are the stories. So I want to start off with, before we get to the story about Mexico paying for the wall, I want to dive into the Christian persecution. So there have been so many different stories from around the world, starting in China, where they just recently raised a church that had 3,000 seats in it. And it was a church that was well attended, had been around for quite a while, quite a number of years. And the people there, the pastor and his wife were actually, I don't know what I want to call it. They were falsely arrested. They're being held on inciting gatherings, inducing people to come to church. I'm serious, you guys. So this is frightening, unbelievably frightening. And it's also, it makes me really sad because I think about how we take everything about church for granted here in America. On Sunday, our pastor said that there's a significant number of our congregation who attend church once a month. I'm sorry, guys. People are like, where are you? I'm sitting right here. I didn't realize I wasn't on camera. Hold on. Transitioning over. Okay, there I am. I didn't realize that that was like a thing. So there's a huge number of people at our church, according to our pastor, who attend church once a week. Once a month. See, I got distracted by the fact that the camera wasn't on. So let me back that thing up and start it one more time. According to our pastor, there is a significant number of people at our church who attend church once a month. Once a month. So church is meant to be attended once a week and they're going once a month. I don't know why. So I'm sorry that there's not a lot of data as to why people are doing that. But he said whether you're attending once a week or once a month, he wants us to share with people in our circle that we go to church, however sporadically that might be, and to invite them to go because most people are only one ask away from going to church. Now, contrast that with what we see coming out of the Christian Post. The People's Republic of China destroyed a church that reportedly could seat 3,000 people and detained the pastors. China Aid is an international nonprofit Christian human rights group based in Texas, and they reported the incident in a statement released on Saturday. According to the group, Chinese authorities provided no legal papers to justify the demolition. They just came in and tore it down. The church is located in Funan, Anhui Province. Its pastors, Geng Jimin and son Yang Yo, were detained under suspicion of gathering a crowd to disturb social order. China Aid President Bob Fu said in a statement that the incident is yet another clear example showing the escalation of religious persecution today by the Chinese communist regime. But it goes on further. The total disregard of religious freedom protection as enshrined in the Communist Party's own constitution tells the whole world that President Xi is determined to continue his war against the peaceful Christian faithful. This campaign shall surely fail in the end. And that's the China Aid guy speaking there. So, President Xi has had a wave of crackdowns on religious practices in China, and they have destroyed or damaged several churches, reflecting their concerns about the increasing Christian population in China. Now, I would love to see President Trump say something to him about it, but we'll see what happens. This has been going on since 2017. It appears to be getting worse. And then what they did over the summer was they actually tore a church to the ground, the True Jesus Church in Henan Province. They dragged all the believers out. The believers were in the church worshiping, and they dragged them out. And then they removed the 10 Commandments from nearly every 3 self-church and meeting venue in the county of Liaoyang and replaced it with President Xi Jinping quotes. They say the Communist Party wants to sinicize Christianity. Now, if you travel across the globe to Muslim Nigeria, they're also destroying churches and attacking worshipers. Algerian government officials continue their brutal crackdown on a number of Christian communities, shuttering the doors to the largest Protestant church in the country. 700-member strong Church of the Full Gospel of Tizi Ouzou was told by government officials that they would be shut down on Wednesday. And on Tuesday, as the congregants gathered for prayer and worship, did you hear me? I said they were told that the church would be shut down on Wednesday, so they were in there on Tuesday praising and worshiping. Now, I know we all have jobs and we have to work Monday through Friday, but these people aren't going to church once every 3 weeks. They don't go every 4th week. They're going multiple times during the week because they know their church is but one government order from being torn down and they won't have any place to gather. They were pulled out, and anybody who resisted was beaten, including the pastor who was just trying to stop them from hurting the women. They were beating the stuffing out of the women as they dragged them out of the church as well. He says, according to the Morning Star News, many members fled the building in fear. Others were forcibly dragged out. Pastor Salah Shala, who heads up the Protestant churches in Algeria, wanted to protect them, but they beat him too. Chala told the Morning Star News, quote, "The police intervened to force us out of our church, a church that exists and has been active legally and in the light since 1996. It's been 23 years that we exist in plain view. Why wait until today to do so? May everyone know that we have been beaten and abused, including our sisters too, in our own premises and for one reason only, our Christian faith. And because that is the cause of our pain, we are proud of it." Come on, people. Come on. On the same day, the 500-member Source of Life Church in Makud was also shut down. Footage of the raid shows members singing hallelujah as police stormed the premises. 15 churches have been closed since last year. Of the 46 Protestant congregations, some 15 have been closed since the start of this past year. According to Open Doors USA, there are just 125,000 Christians among a population of over 42 million people. And again, I say to you, we Americans are going to church once a week. And that's some of us. The rest are just going once every 3 or 4 weeks. And then this isn't for me to make you feel guilty or act like you owe me anything. You don't owe me anything. But I'm just reporting this to you because we need to have a proper understanding of where we are within the body. We are in the freest place on earth where we can go to church or not go to church and no one punishes us. And yes, there's religious persecution in America, but we outnumber the non-religious people by such a large degree that any persecution that happens here in this country is because we allow it. We are only persecuted here in America because we don't stand up to these bullies and tell them, you're not getting any more of that done over here. You are going to take your demonic, unsaved self out of my presence with that persecution, or come over here and let me love on you a little bit, feed you a meal and tell you a little bit about Jesus, because that's what you really need, because that's why you're so mad. You're mad because you don't know anybody. You don't know the one you need to know. The most important person you need to know, you don't know him. And that's why y'all mad. You're rife with unforgiveness. Your soul is all ate up with anger and resentment, and you're bitter, and you don't know why everything is going against you, and you're mad. And what you really need is for somebody to hug you really tight, pray over you, give you something warm to eat, listen to you, share your problems, and then why don't you come to church with me so we can get some praise and worship and get something going on here that will actually help you. But I'm telling you, the religious persecution that we're experiencing when we outnumber everybody else is because we allow it, and only because we allow it. In a country where there's only 125,000 Christians, 42 million Muslims, and they're getting dragged out of church and they're still in there singing, they're not afraid. That's why I don't understand here where people say, well, I'm kind of afraid to tell people about the gospel. I mean, I do understand it. And don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm that big and bold when it comes to like strangers, telling a stranger, do you want to come to church with me? But we do have this weird sense that we can't tell anybody about Jesus when we live in America, where you're openly, like, you're welcome to tell anybody about anything you want. We do that. We act like that here. In countries where they're wildly outnumbered, they go and sing and praise God in the middle of the week. They're in there singing and praising God unabashedly, knowing that they're under order, their church is about to be torn down. So they're like, well, I'm going to get in here one more time and lift my voice up and praise God in the church house one more time. So not to belabor the point. Of course, you can find this story from therightscoop.com over at the show notes at listen.stacyontheright.com. After the show, I'm going to upload, obviously you'll have today's podcast, you'll have yesterday's that you can tune into. And I have a bonus content for you today as well. Yes, you caught me. I'm trying to make up for my life getting in the way. And for those who are wondering where I was, I'll just briefly say that we had a dear friend who passed away, and I was the couple of days that I've missed over the past week have been for things related to that. And I know that he's gone on to be with the Lord, and we are so grateful for the time that we had with him and his friendship. And I just encourage you. People always say it whenever someone dies. The people who are left behind say, hug your loved ones, or they say, nothing is promised to us. Make up with that person you're not reconciled with, or call your parents. Treat someone kindly. You never know what people are going through. So I just say all of those things to you. Hug your loved ones. Treat people with kindness and respect, and if there's anybody that you have anything against, go make up with them. Just go tell them, I'm sorry. And, just even if you don't even think you're the one who was wrong, just say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. And just get right with the people, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they feel. You don't know what they're thinking about. You don't know if you're going to get to see them ever again. And so just do those things. Death is so final. It's so amazing how we know what death is, but it takes someone near you to die for you to realize it's the ultimate cutoff. So anyway, this segment has gone by so quickly. I do want to get to Mexico paying for the wall. Now, this is good news. And I love a little bit of good news at the beginning of the week. I love it in the middle of the week. I love it at the end of the week. I'll take it anytime I can get it. So here it is. CNN is actually ticked off because President Donald Trump's border policies are having the effect of a wall. These border policies are working fantastically because the Mexican government is cooperating with him. And the only reason they're cooperating with President Trump is because he threatened to put a tariff on all their goods. And so for people who say tariffs don't work, this is Donald Trump's tariff stick in your eyeball. Dig it out and come join us over here on the side as we do our shoulder dances and think about how good it is to be alive in America today. Yeah. So the cooperation of the Mexican government is what is irking Univision anchor Jorge Ramos, from whom it is obvious CNN got all the talking points. Yeah, baby. They say that he's a little upset that Mexico is paying for the wall. They actually had it in the title of their Sunday story by Catherine Choichet. It said, Natalie Galan also wrote this piece with talking points lifted from Jorge. Why some say Mexico already built Trump's wall, .. and paid for it. That was the title of their story, y'all. Yes, I'll take that all day, every day. CNN admitting that President Trump is right. Yeah. Loving it. We'll be back right after this. Stay there.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Stacy on the Right.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Guess what? So we're still doing Lives.tv, and our official launch is this week. And so you'll have to watch social media to see the official launch, and all of the episodes will be up over at Lives.tv. So it's livesat.com/Lives.tv. And I don't know if the website will be updated to an easier address than that. I'm awaiting with bated breath more details, but this is going to be so exciting because on LiveZet, when you watch those episodes at LiveZet.tv, you'll be able to see the Skype interviews I'm able to do with people. And I haven't done a ton of those yet, but you guys know one of my favorite things to do is interview guests. And I haven't been able to do that with the current studio setup that I have here at home. And I cannot spend any more money on studio equipment here for the house. I just can't. I don't have advertisers, and the support that I'm receiving from all of you is amazing, but it's what's keeping the podcast on the air. Equipment is just so expensive. And so rather than spend a few $1,000 more so that I can have additional machines to do Skype and all that stuff, it's better to do it over at Lives.tv since that opportunity has presented itself, which is to me a blessing from God. It answers prayer about being able to interview guests and provide extra content, and to have a platform that's larger than my current platform from which to launch more things that are really, really great. So I'm excited about that when the launch goes on. And then I just wanted to say, if you guys are challenge coin holders, and the challenge coins are, apparently you hand these coins to people when they say, someone says, I'm in the Air Force, and you say, I'm in the Army, and you hand them a challenge coin and they hand you yours. You basically put it on the table. If you don't have your challenge coin with you, which is proof that you're in that service because you're not in your uniform, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I only have 6. I have 6 challenge coins. I have 2 FBI ones, 1 Arlington Hall Police Chief one from the time that I was in the Air Force Maintenance Data Systems Analysis Expert Analytical Support, User, Remus, and CAMS. Those were our systems. Problem solving for today, ensuring the future of tomorrow. That's the biggest coin that I have, oddly enough. And this one is from the Air Force when I was in the Air Force. And then I have one that is a U.S. Air Force 50 years of service, 1948 to 1998. And then a 728th ACS Air Combat Squad Poised for Peace coin. So pretty cool that I have these. And you're going to see why I'm talking about these if you tune in at LifeSet once we launch. You'll see, why is she talking about challenge coins? What's that? You'll see. So just hold on to that. Put a pin in that. So I mentioned that I wanted to talk about, well, first of all, I added this to the show. So you can read this article about CNN being upset over Mexican cooperation with Trump on Border Patrol. You can actually read that one. And the Christians being dragged from the churches. You can read it. And my encouragement to you on that is, you heard me talk about it on the show. So you might think to yourself, well, why do I need to read it? Well, I'm actually looking for you to maybe just share it on social media. That's what I'm actually looking for you to do. And the reason why I would say that is because a ton of us out there don't even realize that's what's going on. We don't even realize that that is happening in countries around the world. It puts things in stark perspective for us here. So I want to head over to the chat room really quickly. So Bjorn, Chi, Smoke, 3 Stacys, and Tracy. Hey guys. Hey over there. And Chi said he was just studying 1 Peter 4 last night at Bible study. Oh yeah. Yeah. So Christian persecution, it's a thing. Yeah. God bless those who are really they're struggling and they're trying to live, and worship God as they please, and they're being persecuted. So anyway, oh, okay. I don't think I was just checking on the other streams. Okay. YouTube is up. Hey, everybody over at YouTube. Doug Poss, Black Conservative OG. Richard Layton. Marlon Lee. Thank you so much, guys, for being in the chat room. All right. So back to what we were discussing here. So I want to kind of delve into this story, not for a prurient nature. Please don't think I'm like, this, because the story is really gross. But the reason why this is important for us to discuss is because it's a double standard. So bear with me here. Democratic Congresswoman Katie Hill had a three-way relationship with her husband and a female employee. Now, in the era of, anything goes, LGBT, women's rights, men have no rights, whatever, it's fine. Like, nobody's going to complain about that. But guess what? She actually cheated on her staffer and her husband with her campaign finance director named Graham Kelly. He's now her legislative director. So another dude, Kenny Haslip, shared the, so he shared a picture of her combing the lady's hair, and looks like they're in her congressional office, and one of them is unclothed. Oh, Kenny is her husband. He says, is she a lesbian? If so, why has she been sleeping with her male finance director for the past year at least? I couldn't dispute this if she was still holding to being bisexual, but by being with me, her husband, for 15 years and then leaving me for another man, not a woman, whom she is still seeing, that's not being a lesbian. Bisexual, yes, as I will back up her claims to this, but not a lesbian alone. So he's outing her. He's her estranged husband. His name's Kenny Haslip. So the woman that the two of them were having a relationship with was one of her workers, one of her staffers. So Twitter, here's where the hypocrisy comes in. Twitter decides to ban the photo, citing ever-changing community standards. Remember, Twitter allows porn stars to post their videos of their quote-unquote work. They say they can't not allow them to post because that would be demonizing someone who works in an industry that has previously been maligned and blah, blah, blah. Yet here we are on Taco Tuesday. They've banned this picture because she's a Democrat and they don't want her husband making her look bad. And the media, they don't have anything to say about it. They don't care. So anyway, I think it's garbage. It's total, utter garbage that they're doing that. And the banning is what I'm talking about. And so if you're thinking, well, wow, you never really get on that. Like, I don't talk about it a ton. They've throttled me down. I feel like God will expand my reach in spite of Silicon Valley and Google and, Twitter, whoever is basically keeping me back. At some point, when God decides to open the floodgates for, traffic, what have you, people seeing and my work, then it will happen. I believe that. So it is frustrating and I hate it, what they're doing. I know what they're doing, but they're doing it to everyone. So the example I would give you here is I was watching a video this morning from a friend of mine who I actually admittedly haven't seen him in years and years and years, but Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is he has arguably the biggest channel on YouTube. And he has been really popular and he has like no ceiling. Like he just grows and grows and grows until recently. So what he did was he looked into his metrics on Twitter, his analytics, and he was able to see where the organic views from people who've subscribed continue to increase. But the subscribers do not increase. And the reason the subscribers don't increase is because what YouTube has done is if you type in Louder with Crowder, you don't get his latest videos. You get videos of people talking about Louder with Crowder. So some dude with 56 views will pop up instead of actual Louder with Crowder. Now, I tell you what, if I was him and I had millions of followers and I was only getting the same people and no new people were being shown my content, I'd be pretty upset about it. And he is. But he's also pointed out that this has been going on since the beginning of this year. the CEO or whoever their spokesperson is of YouTube came out and said they would not do this. They would not limit organic search. And then that's exactly what they did to him right after they made the announcement. He can track it with his analytics and he can show where they're doing it. And then he's had everybody who's a guest on the show. So not people who work there who are affiliated with the show, but anyone who's a guest on the show, he'll have them search for him on YouTube and he'll show them, see what's coming up? These are the first 100 to 150 results after you search. None of them are Steven Crowder or one of his actual videos. They're all people talking about videos that he's done. Unbelievable. And then I'd reported to you that someone was in France and couldn't get my videos, or couldn't get my blog. Well, the person who emailed me that emailed back and clarified and said, I heard you talking about that on the podcast last night. That's not what I said. I said that when I'm in Belgium, I can type you in on YouTube and I can get you. But when I'm in France, I can't get your YouTube channel to come up. So I guess I'm banned in France. I don't know. You know, I've been to France 4 times. I feel a little miffed that I've come to their beautiful country and been treated this way. But, you know, so why is all this happening? Because we're getting closer and closer to 2020. And none of them want to be held responsible for helping conservatives win. That's the way they feel about it. They're like, we can't help them win. So the lying, the hypocrisy, the cheating, the manipulation, it's in full swing. What do we have to fight back against that? We have the living God. We are believers. We are outside of their system. So yes, we operate within it. I'm live streaming to YouTube right now. It's not like we're not participating in the marketplace, but whatever limits they say they've placed on us, do we not remember Joshua in the field of battle with the mighty men of valor and the people of Israel? And they'd been told to go in and clean out the promised land from the unbelievers who had been given 450 years to repent from their baby slaughter and ritual child sacrifice, and they refused to do it. And so God came to Joshua and said to him, I've already given the enemy into your hand. The battle is yours. It's already won. Go into the valley and destroy the enemy and everything that they possess, everything they own. Burn all of it to the ground. Kill everyone there. The battle is yours. Go. He was in the valley and the Israelites were slaying everybody in sight. And he looked up and saw the moon high in the sky and the sun was at noonday. And he looked down to the battlefield and realized they wouldn't be done by the time it got dark. And these are the biblical times. So no night lights, no Hummers to come down and turn on the headlights, you know, no drones, nothing. They got nothing that they can put light up at night except the moon. And so Joshua said, moon, stay where you are. Sun, stand still. So that the people of the living God can complete the task that they've been given. And never before and never since has it ever happened. But in the Bible says those 2 heavenly bodies, which really means the earth stopped rotating, y'all. That's what it really means, because the heavenly bodies didn't stop moving. They don't move. The sun does not move. It's the earth that rotates around the sun. We know that. But the point is, everything stayed still so they could get their slaughter on and finish what God told them to do. So if God was there like that for Joshua, and he was there like that for David, and he was in the lion's den, and he's been all over the Bible doing what he says he's going to do, then how can we look at results from YouTube or Facebook or Twitter and get down about it? I'm losing followers on Twitter. I'm down like 3,000 or 4,000 now. I don't know why. I still tweet. I don't tweet as often as I used to, but I still tweet. I don't know why I'm losing them. I'm not concerned, because when it's time, if it's going to blow up, it will. If it never blows up, that's because it's not going to be the medium through which I do what I need to do. That's all. But I do know that when I get down on my knees and I pray to God, he hears me and he answers my prayers. And I know that when I have something negative happen, he works that out for my good. And when good things happen, that's for my joy. And I can receive those without any hesitation or fear of anything else that might come. And so looking forward to 2020, as believers, it is our job to keep praying for the result that we want, knowing that no matter what happens, God's going to work it out for our good. But until we see that, we have only to pray and keep praying, right? So don't give up. Don't get don't get discouraged. The stories that I'm sharing with you here are not for your discouragement. They're for your edification, meaning just your knowledge base. You increase your knowledge base, and then you know what to pray for. You know how to go forward. You know how to have these conversations with people in your sphere. When you're informed and someone comes to you and says, because Donald Trump said he was going to make the Mexicans build a wall and he didn't do it. And you can be like, yeah, actually, through cooperation with the Mexican government and the amount of money they're spending on keeping people who are illegal entrants out of America, it may not be a physical wall, but they are paying for it because they're the ones who are keeping the people out on their side. What else you got? Okay, you don't have to say what else you got. Like if you're talking to someone and you say the first thing I said, and then you don't add in the what else you got, in other words, you're not a smart aleck like I just was. That's probably good for you. You're probably going to get blessed for not being smart alecky. So, and I probably won't get blessed because I was smart alecky, but I didn't mean anything by it. Nothing hurtful anyway. All right. So when we get back, we're going to dive into Always sanitary pads. I know you guys are thinking, wow, what a show. We're going to dive into Always sanitary pads, removing the female symbol from their products because men have periods too. We know they don't, but we'll talk about that. I'll explain why they're bowing down to the LGBT mob and other stuff. So, yeah. Oh, and I also want to point out that I need you to share the show. I need you to share the show on social media. And I need you to be prepared for this LifeZat launch. It's going to be huge. And also the web redesign that I have been talking about for months and months and months. And the reason it didn't happen before is because it wasn't meant to happen there. It was meant to happen with this new group that I'm joining that is affiliated with LifeZat. And so I'm so excited that I'm going to be affiliated with LifeZat and Ops Lens and Wayne Dupree and Carl Higby and so many others. Drew Berquist. Yeah, we're going to be friends. All right. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now that's dancing. Sure beats flossing.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Stacy on the Right.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Okay. So, Smoke said, men with cycles, strong delusion, reprobate minds, Romans 1, Matthew 24, 2 Thessalonians. The truths of the Bible are being displayed right before our very eyes. What a great time to be alive. Can I just say to you, that is the perfect attitude to have. We are in a time where, it's almost like every delusion is being ripped off, and people who are suffering with them they're out there and they're waiting for us to come tell them the truth. Can you get excited about that with me right now? Can you say just mentally to yourself, wow, this is such a great time to be alive. This is such an amazing time to yeah. So yes, there are disturbing things, and there are things like when I hear about the Christian persecution or the trafficking of the children, or there's plenty to be just enraged about, but there's also huge opportunities. If you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and you can go tell someone about it, you can say, oh man, I've got some fantastic news to tell you. And if they say, oh, you're just going to tell me about Jesus? Yes, I am. Come with me. Join me. Come to church with us. After church, let's eat together. Let's go to brunch, or let's confab back up at our house, and everybody bring, potluck. Everybody brings a dish, and just entice them with what you're making. I make the meanest lasagna in America. That's not a part of this story. That's actually the truth. And I wish that I could make lasagna for all of you and that you would eat it, but then none of you would ever leave my house again, because that's how good my lasagna is. It is world renowned for those who've tasted it. But my husband doesn't like me to make it for people outside our family. I think it's because he thinks people will move in and want to live with us forever. I think that's what he thinks, because the lasagna is that good. I also make good gumbo. So whatever. This isn't a cooking show. If you want to entice someone to go to church with you, you need only tell them that there's eating involved afterwards, and they might just go just to get you off their back. I'll go this once. But that's the nature of church. If you're going to a great church that you enjoy and you invite someone, they're going to come and they're going to see you enjoying it. And they might think, wow, this music is suspect. That's what my husband first said the first time the church we are members of now. Well, we're technically not members because we've never done that 4-part class, but we've been going there for years and tithing there. And this place is so amazing that he didn't really like the music, but he kept coming because of the preaching and teaching from the pastor. And now I don't know if I don't even ask him about it anymore, because everybody has something about a church that's not their favorite. So any church that we've ever attended where I love the music, I was worried about the theological moorings being strong and foundationally secure. And that's much more disturbing than just listening to music that you don't love, because we live in an era, in an age where at any time of the day, all day long, you can listen to your own choice of music. You can create your own playlists. The soundtrack of your life is a literal thing now, where you create the music that you listen to, put it in the order that you want to listen to it. You're never bound by the radio or commercials or anything else. So if the music isn't what you care for, because I honestly, when we were at the services earlier this week for our friend, it was pretty amazing to stand together in unison and sing from the hymn book. Oh, I felt like my soul was just soaring in the heavens with the people, a large group of people singing hymns together. To sing them together, it was so just beautiful and uplifting. Well, we have contemporary Christian worship at our church, and I love it. I do. I like it a lot, but I wish we had like one Sunday a month or a couple Sundays a month where we cracked open the hymnal and sang together. Our church is so big, I can't even imagine what it would be like to have that many people singing from a hymnal. It just would be beautiful, unbelievable. So anyway, I got off on a tangent there. All right, so I promised that we were going to discuss this always thing. That's a big sigh before I tell a story that is obviously, here we go. All right. So, oh, by the way, if you want to get a Pierre Delicto shirt, Mitt Romney's code name on Twitter, you can get one at Breitbart.com. They're selling t-shirts. So feminist backlash after sanitary pad company caves to trans activists. The story is over at Breitbart, and you know how much we love Breitbart here at Stacy on the Right. Some of our best friends are employed by Breitbart. And if you want to say Breitbart is racist, I'm here to smack you across your hand and offer you a stale, not a good one, a stale banana muffin. That's what I'm here for. Not because I want to be mean to you, but you deserve something stale to eat if you think Breitbart's full of racists. Anyway, 18-year-old British trans activist named Ben Saunders complained to Procter & Gamble, the maker of Always sanitary pads, saying, "Not everyone who menstruates identifies as a female." Another transgender activist named Melly Boom, how's that for a name, tweeted that there are non-binary and trans folks who still need to use your products too, you know. So Procter & Gamble, the maker of Always, capitulated to the demands of the activists, announcing, "We're glad to inform you that as of December, we will use a wrapper design without the feminine symbol." Now, if you're a feminist, you should be madder than 10 cats trapped in a bag together that this is going on. The decision to move the Venus symbol from the sanitary pad wrapper across Europe prompted widespread outrage from women, some calling for a boycott of Always products. Told ya, the feminists ain't gonna have this. Wendy, who's a Brit, tweeted out, "Always has the right to make a decision that alienates and marginalizes biological women." Should I read that? Okay, let me see if I can read it in a voice that sounds like I'm a Brit too. "Always has the right to make a decision." The Cockney doesn't work, does it? Always has the right to make a decision. It's not working for me, but a British chick tweeted this out. Won't read it in her voice. "That alienates and marginalizes biological women, just as I have the right to boycott Always." Ooh, hashtag boycott Always. "Biologically only women menstruate. To remove the female symbol is denying biology. I will no longer purchase at Procter & Gamble products." Now, good luck with that. Now, she's a Brit, so she probably has a lot of other stuff she can buy. But here in America, if you want to buy stuff for your home, toilet paper, dishwashing detergent, dish soap, laundry detergent, you are actually going to have a tough time not buying Procter & Gamble products. And also, just so you know, when it's PG&E week, PG&E coupons come out of your grocer's coupon machine. If you read it, if you don't just throw it in the bag and recycle it, the PG&E gives you $10 off every $30 worth of PG&E products you buy. So that's when you stock up, girls. When you're at the grocery store, yes, I said girls. You're at the grocery store and you're buying your products and it spits out. Take your stuff to the car and put it in the trunk. Come back inside the grocery store and get $30 of PG&E products and take the $10 off. You just got a huge discount. And then when you do that, if it kicks out another coupon, take it. I'm not kidding, y'all. Put your stuff in the trunk, go back in and buy another $30 of PG&E products. And if you want to know how quickly you can get there, that's a 24 roll of mega sized toilet paper with the PG&E brand. And they have many brands, probably the brands you're using. And then a couple of the extra large sized like Dawn dish soaps, or maybe you could stock up on the laundry detergent. Y'all, I've done this before. And I know it's a little extra expenditure, but you're basically buying it in advance and then you don't have to buy it for the next few months, and you've saved all that money because every $30 you spend during PG&E week gets you a $10 off coupon, another $30 in PG&E products. You can't beat that with a stick. So I don't know how these British chicks are going to boycott. How can you boycott a company that gives you those kind of discounts? Anyway, Always. Genderless feminine hygiene products. Really? This is Christy Hassel. "Only women have periods. That's a scientific fact. If your company does not understand this, how can I trust you to make a quality product? I might end up with a jock strap. Hashtag put the symbol back. Hashtag boycott always. So prominent feminist writer Julie Bendel told the UK Daily Mail on Sunday that removing the female symbol from sanitary towel packaging is basically denying the existence of women. We're now moving towards the total elimination of women's biology. The women's symbol has been used by feminists for decades. This is pure cowardice and virtue signaling from these big corporate brands who are capitulating to the trans agenda. Maya Forstater, a woman who was fired from her think tank job for saying that men cannot change into women, wrote, "The Venus sign in biology is used to represent the female sex. You know, the only people who will ever need these products. It does not represent gender identity." She's right about that. In a statement after the decision, Procter & Gamble said, quote, "For over 35 years, always has championed girls and women, and we will continue to do so. We're also committed to diversity and inclusion," which, remember when diversity just meant accepting Black people? And for those who didn't like it then, don't you wish that's all it meant now? You had it so good back then and everybody was mad. Now you can't even get mad because nobody knows what diversity means anymore. It means anything. A tree can have a period. You know, that concrete urn out there could have a child. We don't know what anything means anymore. Nothing means anything anymore. Back to the quote. "We're also committed to diversity and inclusion. And after hearing from many people across genders and age groups, we realize that not everyone who has a period and needs to use a pad identifies as female," end quote. They added, quote, "To ensure that anyone who needs to use a period product feels comfortable in doing so with Always, we've updated our pad wrapper design. Our mission remains to ensure no girl loses confidence at puberty because of her period or gender. And we do this through our puberty education programs by providing access to period products with programs such as hashtag End Period Poverty, and by using our brand voice to tackle societal barriers and stigma like we did in hashtag Like a Girl. The two transgender activists who started the controversy have since set their accounts to private. So can I just say that earlier I was mockingly saying that you can't boycott Procter & Gamble. But after hearing that they're the ones who were behind that Like a Girl campaign, and they're the ones who are teaching people about period poverty, and they're actually already knee deep in the gender wars, and they don't seem to understand that their products are for chicks, I might need to get a list of those Procter & Gamble products. Their coupons are not going to be enough to stop me from having to weigh in on this garbage. They're actually in the culture war. They are a household goods product company. They're engaging in the culture war for which the majority of Americans, we stand apart from the culture war. We simply want to be able to buy stuff and recognize what it is when we look at the packaging. This is actually not that big of a deal when you think of the women's symbol, but the symbolic nature of the act that they've committed makes it a big deal, because what they're saying is they're on the other side. The side that really, honestly, what is it, like 1 million people, 850,000 to 1 million people who are gender confused? They're over there with them, and we're over here 180 million strong, men and women with families who need to buy products that work. So, she said real men use Depends. And he's right. Guys, this is so idiotic. Come on. All right, programming updates. So after today's show, after this live stream ends anyway, you'll have in the podcast area at listen.stacyontheright.com yesterday's podcast, today's that you're listening to right now, and then bonus content from LifeSet. It's a short episode and it's so good, y'all. You should listen to it and enjoy it. Yeah, now I hear Mr. Bentley, the conservative pup of America, barking his brains out. Thank God it's the end of the show. Don't forget, you can always email your tips and story ideas, show ideas to me at stacyontheright@gmail.com. And you can also enjoy more content over at stacyontheright.com. Thank you so much for being with us today. God bless you. Don't forget to invite somebody to church and then feed them. I think that's how we beat these liberals back. Let's just be nicer to people than they are. Not hard. All right. God bless. Talk to you tomorrow.